Hey, it's Eric Olson, and this video is going to be kind of interesting, or at least to me, it's going to be interesting. I'm going to take the Roberto Blake's challenge of doing 100 videos. What he says basically, it's like a dress rehearsal. There's no one going to be there to watch it. If you're watching this, you're probably going to be one of the very few. And I did an interview with Sean Cannell. If you don't know who he runs a YouTube channel called ThinkMedia, where he teaches you how to be a YouTuber and just, being better on camera. And here's the ironic part of this whole interview. I didn't feel comfortable being on video, so I did a podcast with him. And that should have been a great opportunity for me to practice interviewing skills on camera, but I didn't. And this is why I'm jumping in right now with Roberto Blake's challenge of doing 100 videos. That way you'll be more comfortable being in front of the camera. This video right now, after this part here, is just going to be audio. But if you're here to learn and just figure out how to be a better YouTuber, you don't really care about the video part of it as much, this will be a good audio program for you, I guess you could say. So anyhow, thank you, Roberto Blake, for opening up my eyes and doing this 100 video challenge. This is going to be my first video, and moving forward after this, everything will be all video. But thank you again, Roberto, for really pushing me to do it. And here's the interview that I did with Sean Cannell. I just think it's so ironic that he's the video guy, but I did strictly just audio because I wasn't comfortable doing video. I had a hard time doing video with a traditional camera or even my phone, holding it up. What I found the most comfortable, or maybe it's because I'm comfortable doing podcasts, what I found the most comfortable is just sitting in a chair, having a mic like this, and then just putting a webcam up on the computer monitor. And this seems to be the best. Trust me, there was tons of takes before. If you think this is bad, it was really bad before. But I just couldn't figure out how to be comfortable holding the camera. Yes, I know it's going to take practice, but I think I need to do like a step climb of just getting used to being on video. I'm going to do the podcasting kind of style first, and maybe this is my crutch, but that's okay, because after 100 videos, I'll love to see that I don't need the mic anymore. Maybe I don't need the webcam anymore. Maybe can just use my regular camera that I use for photography. I tried to use that camera. It's a Nikon D5600, and I just couldn't do it. It was just awkward, more awkward than this. But anyways, like I was saying, I'm taking the Roberto Blake's 100 video challenge. Let me know what you think about being on video. If you like this, hit the like button, subscribe, leave me a comment below. Let me know if you're comfortable being on video. Let me know if you are like me and you're just, I can't be on video, kind of like this right now. And have you ever done anything like this? Just let me know. I'd be curious to kind of, figure out where you guys are in your YouTube journey. So here's the interview with Roberto. Excuse me. Here's the interview with Sean Cannell. Well, Sean, thank you for spending the time with me. I told our audience just a little bit about you before we jumped on here, but can you go ahead and expand on it?
Yeah, Eric, super pumped to be here. And my passion is to help people build their influence with online video. And I actually started back in 2003 at my local church making videos for video announcements at our youth ministry. And fast forward to today, I think we just crossed 600,000 subscribers across our different channels and 20 million video views. So it's been quite the journey.
Wow, that is incredible. How did you decide to get into like online video, like YouTube?
Yeah, I think it just was a natural progression. Like I said, when I started in 2003, YouTube didn't exist yet. Social media hadn't started yet. It started in 2005. And the first channel that I managed was my church's channel in 2007. And I think because I was doing it in that environment, eventually I got pretty good at it. In 2009, I started a business and started helping people with YouTube. It was called Clear Vision Media. I was helping them set their channels up, shoot their videos, behind the scenes strategy. And so it's kind of just been natural. And today I have been doing this for 15 years. So I realized that, whatever you know the most, and it's kind of a tip here, whatever you have experience in, if you've been through it, you've experienced the pain, the problems, the challenges, you can help others, follow your footsteps. If they're just a little bit behind where you are, you can bring them up to where you are, sharing your best tips, your best advice. So, man, I've been touching, working with cameras and trying to figure out how to use microphones and lighting for years. And so taking all the lessons that I've learned in my life and sharing those online has been the absolute key to success in growing in online video.
If someone doesn't know who you are already, what YouTube channel? What's your website address so they can go ahead and
Yeah,
check you out?
the best two channels, actually, you can just type in YouTube, search the words ThinkMedia, and that channel really helps you with the cameras. Even if you wanted to start a podcast or something, USB microphones, lighting, figuring out all those details, even smartphone accessories, because most people's smartphone is good enough to be creating videos. You don't need to buy a camera. Just buy like a little plug-in mic that you can get off Amazon. So all that's at ThinkMedia, and you can just type those words and search on YouTube. And the other channel is called Video Influencers, and that's a weekly interview show with people that are crushing it with online video, whether in the entrepreneur space or as YouTubers. And we share tips there as well. So if people want to figure out how to really build their influence, income, so they can ultimately make a greater impact, check out Video Influencers on YouTube.
Perfect. Well, let's go ahead and just dive deep into basically how do you build real influence with video? What would be the first step other than the equipment? What about more towards the strategy side of it?
Absolutely. Well, I've got three big tips for you. And number one is clarity. The first thing that you have to define is clarity, and specifically over who your target audience is. What I've discovered is that if you try and reach everybody, you end up reaching nobody. And when I talk to a lot of creators, a lot of entrepreneurs, and say, who's your YouTube channel for? A lot of times they'll say, well, it's for everybody. I think everyone would like it. And that is a recipe for disaster. It's a recipe for obscurity and not breaking through. But as soon as you can narrow down who your audience is for, now you can actually have influence with a particular group of people. And so, for instance, there's an entrepreneur that we know, John Kohler. We interviewed him on Video Influencers. He has a gardening channel, but he has a company on the back end that's about discountjuicers.com. So he uses YouTube to add value, help people with growing their greens so that they can juice their greens from their garden and whatever else. But then it all funnels into his business. But here's what he knows. He knows that his target audience is people who are interested in gardening. That's not everybody. He's got a really, really clear, focused audience and ultimately a focused niche, right? In the internet marketing space, they say the riches are in the niches. And so I recommend a lot of people, if they want to build influence, they need to get more narrow and not try to reach a wide group of people, but a specific group of people that they can really help.
Perfect. Okay. Clarity is the first one. What about number two? Hey, it's me again, jumping in on video. That's the key here, video, not audio. If you like this kind of content, you want me to keep making videos, comment below, subscribe, hit the notification bell, and let me know what kind of videos you want to see. I'm going to be speaking about starting businesses, growing a business, branding. I've done so many podcasts on being like a business owner and social media. And I guess now I'm going to be flipping over to doing video. I've never done video before. That's why it's intimidating. That's why you only see, or not see, but that's why you only hear um, just the audio. So, okay. I'm not going to cut any of this out for a reasoning of because in the past, excuse me, not the past. See, that's why I don't do video. But I don't want to edit this because I want to go back and review this because I'm doing the 100 video challenge from Roberto Blake. I like to review this, basically 100 videos in the future. So you can comment below that I really suck. I know you don't have to let me know, but let me know if you want to hear. Wow. Okay, I'm gonna get off video and go back to the interview.
The second thing that you want to define is your value proposition. So now that you've defined your target audience, what value are you going to deliver to them? And so Steve Panette is a good example. He's part of our community. He's a real estate agent in Phoenix, Arizona, just crushing it using online video, whether that's on YouTube and Facebook. But he's putting out consistent content. He needs to define a couple things. He now says, okay, I want to help people who are trying to find home buyers, potential home owners, or home sellers in my local area. And what I want to do, though, is that's my target audience, number one. Number two, though, how am I going to add value? So he's saying, I'm going to post new videos every week that are going to share tips to just help them in general. And here's the thing that's crazy about this is that you also have to be willing to, I think, add value even if you don't get the business. So he shares some of his best information about how to not, have how to have better interest rates, or how to find the best deals, or the 5 things you want to look for. And it leads to tons of business for him, but it's also just adding value in general. So no matter what industry you're in or what niche you're in, you want to have a very clear idea of what value are you going to add to your audience on a weekly and regular basis.
Now, were you speaking about value? Is there a certain platform that, let's say, if someone's just getting started? I hear a lot of times, I put a video on YouTube and no one watched it, but I threw it up on Facebook and I got 1,000 views right away. You hear things like that.
Absolutely. And I think the answer to that question, if someone asked me, is it either Facebook or YouTube? My answer would be, it's not either or, it's both and. Facebook is more of a short-term play. You do get a lot of those quick views, but here's one fact. Nobody's watching Facebook uploads from a week ago, let alone from 6 months or a year ago. It's a it's a waterfall of content in the news feed, and a great way to distribute some content and get in front of some people. Here's the difference with YouTube. YouTube is a content library, and it's the second largest search engine in the world. And so using the Steve Panette example, if you actually type in Phoenix, Arizona real estate, his video ranks number 1 because he's taking advantage of positioning, optimizing his videos, and he's making them discoverable by his target audience in his local area where he wants to build his business. And that video, even though it's months old, it gets views every single week, even daily, driving more exposure to his business. So the other thing to know is that Facebook, in my opinion, is a sprint, whereas YouTube is a marathon. Mm-hmm. And so you want to be strategically deploying content on both places, adding consistent value. And one thing to note here too is that we always say so many people get so fixated on the production value of their videos. Is it going to look right? Is the camera lighting right? Oh, I'm not good at editing, or I can't figure this stuff out. Here's the thing. While that stuff is important, content value is infinitely more important than production value. You have to think about, what does your audience actually want? They're not concerned whether, they have to see him and hear him, but when he's sharing real estate tips, they want valuable tips that get them wins in their life, that get them results. And they're not too worried about what color shirt he's wearing, right? I mean, those things, or how crispy the video quality is. If your content has value, that is what wins online. So share your answers, share your best tips, give people results in advance, help them accomplish a few things for free, by the way. This is free content you're sharing online. And when you add that free content value up front, that's what can lead to a lot of business and influence growth down the road.
Definitely. Okay. Nice. Okay. Moving on to, I think we're at number 3 or number 4 there.
Yep. Number 3 is consistency. Greatness takes time. And we're living in this world where, it's a microwave generation, right? I'm guilty of it. I want everything now. I order takeout food on Uber Eats, and I'm wondering, why is it taking so long? I throw a dish in the microwave, and I'm wondering, Why is it taking so long? And we can really kind of get into this world where we want these short-term wins and these short-term results. But to be honest, I think everybody knows that life really doesn't work that way. And that's the true when it comes to building real influence with video as well. I see probably most entrepreneurs fail at this because they try for a couple weeks or even a couple months, and then they give up and say it doesn't work. It's kind of like starting a business, right? We've all heard the stats that it takes a business 16 to 18 to 24 months to be profitable, right? That you need to be willing to grind, hustle, be consistent. And so when you are with a clear vision, who's your target audience? What's your value proposition? How are you adding value to them on a weekly basis? Then finally, do that over the long haul. You need some runway to generate real influence. And I think one of the reasons you do is because I think a lot of people are also skeptical on whether or not you're going to show up 3 months from now, 6 months from now. It takes time to build a reputation of being consistent. You can't actually build a reputation of consistency without time. And so we've heard stories of entrepreneurs in our community that will say, one person reviews tech products, and he said it took him, I believe, 5 years to get his first 7,000 subscribers. But in his 6th year, he grew to 700,000 subscribers. And so that to me is an illustration of consistency, willing to put out excellent content that is just adding value to your target audience over the long haul. And eventually you build a reputation to say, man, this is a show I can depend on to show up every week. Well, we're in season 7 of The Walking Dead or whatever it is. The show is still coming out. It's still adding value. You want to be that consistent, valuable resource with online video. And that's how you build real influence with video over time.
For someone who's just starting off and they don't have a YouTube channel already, what would consistency look like for them for kind of like that sweet spot? Is it 1 time a week, 3 times a week? I mean, in the beginning phases.
There's actually, let's take a step back from that. And I want to give people permission before they start, quote unquote. Naturally, you have to set up a YouTube channel to start on YouTube. But I think that the smartest move most entrepreneurs could make is to go into a beta experimental phase before they, quote unquote, launch their YouTube channel. Smart businesses do this. They do product testing. They do test groups. They do experiments before the product, if you will, comes to market. Now, I recommend on YouTube that you do that in public, but that you take your opportunity while you're in obscurity to prepare you for when you blow up and get your opportunity and when you get popularity. So that's what I mean is like, why not set 3 months? Why not set even 6 months to say, let me start my YouTube channel, begin posting videos, researching, studying, experimenting with different content formats, see how long and how much effort this takes, try to get our rhythm. So rather than starting week 1 and saying, hey guys, we're here, here's the schedule, here's the show, we know everything, it takes time to dial some of these things in. And so post when you can, get a few videos up, see your vibe, see what you like it. Get feedback, do test groups. Beta testing is actually a lot of times the difference between success and failure of a product that goes to market. Why would it be any different with the YouTube channel? Go into that beta phase and then eventually, let's say it was 3 months later, then eventually you say, all right, guys, and now you can declare we have a weekly show. It comes out, new videos every Tuesday at 7 a.m. And you've dialed in your systems, your processes, you've figured out your rhythm to be able to deliver on that. So as far as a specific answer to your question, I think weekly should be the goal as kind of a minimum. Just like your favorite show on the CW or AMC or Fox, usually when it's in season is coming out weekly. I think that showing up once a week is a good barrier to entry. Although these days, there are some stats saying that if you can do more than that, YouTube definitely rewards if you can go beyond that. But I like to say this too. I actually think that quality trumps quantity. And there's a lot of people saying the opposite. They're saying just get as much stuff as you can out there. Just try to get as many videos as you can out there. And I actually think that what's going to win going forward for the next few months and even years is actually really high quality content that gets a lot of engagement, so it gets pushed to the top, and not just a lot of average content that's really kind of competing with the rest of the noise on the internet.
Do you know if YouTube has any strategies or anything maybe that you might know that, we don't know because of Facebook Watch? I almost feel like that's the competitor at this second, but I have a feeling that YouTube's going to step it up too.
That's a great question. And so far, we'll have to wait and see. Facebook Watch is kind of interesting. I mean, I don't know about you. I've been engaging with it, and the interface is not really working that great for me. I don't think they have it dialed in yet. I know, speaking from the YouTube side, when you actually really look at the numbers, YouTube is a lot healthier than what most people realize. To be honest, Facebook actually counts views, and they have advertised how many views they get. Oh, we get this many views on our platform. But then they've been caught many times for dishonest, or at least inaccurate, might be more fair, views. And also for counting a view as a 3-second impression as a video goes through the newsfeed. Here's a big switch that YouTube made years back that is kind of shows how different and how much more powerful their measuring system is. YouTube now prioritizes minutes. In fact, for everybody listening, you need to know on YouTube, it's not views or subscribers that matters. It's minutes matter most. And the reason that's popular is a minute of content watched is way more significant. In fact, it's actual depth, it's actual connection with the audience, it's actual consumption versus a view. Because a Facebook view of 3 seconds is not even, there was no impact there. Nobody you didn't say anything. You didn't connect with anybody. You might have felt good because you saw your video on Facebook has 450 views, but did you impact 450 people? The difference is when you create a YouTube channel and you look at your analytics, you might see that you had 10,000 minutes watched or 100,000 minutes watched. And so when you look at real analytics, you see YouTube as being a major platform. In fact, Susan, the CEO, just announced that there's over 1.5 billion logged in with a Gmail account, active users on YouTube every month that are consuming over an hour of content per day just on their mobile phones.
Wow.
So we're talking about half of the people that have access to the internet are on YouTube watching an hour of content a day. YouTube is vibrant, it's healthy, it's alive. They're about to update the whole commenting system and a new community tab that'll make it a little more of a social network and actually probably pull a little bit more of the elements of Facebook that has going for it, like liking, commenting, and sharing, and engagement and interaction. Facebook's definitely stronger there. So as YouTube adds that feature, to be honest, what's the punchline? I'm not that worried about Facebook Watch. I think YouTube is crushing it right now. It's an incredibly vibrant and healthy platform that people should be on and paying attention to. And they are doing things like that to increase engagement. They're continually working on the platform for the algorithm, the search functionality, and actually just the UI UX, the user experience and the user interface of YouTube. In my opinion, it just trumps Facebook Watch again. Let's give them some credit. They just launched it, but it's terrible right now. Like finding videos and the way they're organized and figuring out where they started. I've watched a few shows and I've been like, I don't even know how to navigate through here. And that's something that developers will obviously figure out. So ultimately, we'll have to wait and see. I'm not Nostradamus as it pertains to these things. They change all the time. But the final answer too is that for me, my brand, our team, we're doing both. YouTube is our main platform, but it would be foolish, in our opinion, to not be on the big players right now. YouTube, Facebook, Instagram are probably the big three, Twitter for distribution. And those are the big platforms that we focus on. Because honestly, if attention is there, why wouldn't you invest in that platform to grow your brand, grow your influence, and grow your business overall?
Definitely. I know we got a little sidetracked, but let me rewind here. Number 1 was clarity. 2 was value proposition, and 3 was being consistent. And then we'll just kind of wrap it up here.
Sounds good.
What was the last tip you want to give us?
Oh, well, final tip. Final tip would be put in the work. I'll tell you what, and that might just kind of be general and inspirational. But one thing that I do see when it comes to executing on something like YouTube and executing an online video strategy, it takes actual investment. You've got to be bought in. A lot of people, I understand this, we're stressed out. If we're running a business, we got so many things to do that are not creating content, that are not distributing content and engaging with people on social media. And what a lot of times we want to do is we just want to outsource that. here's what I've learned over the last few years working with some of the biggest YouTubers and entrepreneurs, coaching and consulting with companies. And when it comes to online video, is that if you can't outsource the heart of your business, and if you really want these things to work, it has to come from your heart. So what I mean is, while you can have a team and while you could have people help you with editing and different things, you've got to show up and be bought into the platform. People can tell if it's just some recycled content or something posted from somewhere else and it's just kind of a feed, and that can succeed. That can like get a little bit of results. But what I found, the people who break through the most are the people who are bought in the most, which shouldn't be a surprise to us. When someone actually shows up, when they're there, when they're present. And here's kind of what I mean. Like when you actually act like a YouTuber, even as an entrepreneur, where you're saying, welcome back, guys, definitely subscribe here on YouTube. We're adding weekly value to you. I'm reading your comments. When you're there, when you're present, and I've seen too many entrepreneurs that don't want to embrace that extra work in their business. But to be honest, that's just the cost of entry to crushing it. Because here's the thing, your competitor is willing to do that work. The person that you're competing against that is investing that extra time it takes to distribute free, valuable content online, they're going to get the edge on you if you don't add that extra element to your business. So you can delegate a lot of things to your team, but if you're the key influencer, you're going to be the person that's on camera, then you got to buy into it and actually have first say in your heart that I'm committed to doing the work, blocking time on my calendar, investing what it takes to build real influence with video, and you'll have the biggest results. It's kind of like having influence with your kids, right? You could kind of outsource time with your kids. It's not possible. You could hire somebody to watch them for a day. You could spend a whole bunch of money mailing them gifts and all these other things. But what is the most significant thing that any child wants from their parents? Time, right? Whether we especially know it maybe for some of us listening, if we didn't have parents or we only had a single parent or these different things. Same thing for building real influence. What are you ultimately building? You're building trust. You're building consistency. We do business with people we know, like, and trust. And so you got to be bought in to do the actual work, to show up on a consistent basis. And building influence takes that investment. So I just encourage people, it's worth it, but I think Thomas Edison's famous for the quote that said, opportunity is missed by most people because it's dressed in overalls and it looks like work.
For sure.
You got to actually do the work. And so that's number 4.
I have one more question, more for selfish reasons for myself, of course. I have not done a YouTube, channel myself. I've been thinking about it for quite a while. And here is where it gets sticky for me personally. I wonder if I should be doing an Eric Olson YouTube channel or if I should be pushing all that content over to the Clever Stilettos. That personal branding versus the company page.
So that's, to be honest, it's totally up to you strategy wise. Here's what I'll say. I'll say that I think that at some point everybody should have, when it comes to their social media, they should have channels that are based off their first and last name. So that's the Eric Olson channel. And maybe you also have to determine what season you're in. And the reason you want to have that first and last name is, as I did a study of this, and while I think there are channels that are great that are maybe a branded name, Clever Stilettos.
Yep.
When you look at a lot of personal brands and influencers, their channels are named Tony Robbins, Lewis Howes, Gary Vaynerchuk, Chalene Johnson, fill in the blank of whoever you follow online. And what's interesting about that is some of these people have been in the game for so long, they have evolved. They've gone through multiple different projects. I mentioned Chalene Johnson, one of my business mentors. She's famous for selling, world record holder for selling the most fitness DVDs with infomercials. Now she teaches social media and business. She just launched a brand new diet. So you'd think actually brand wise, it's been all over the place. But here's the thing. She's been doing this for decades, like I believe over 20 years. But here's one thing that never changed. Her channels are Chalene Johnson. So I think everybody, one thing you're going to have for the rest of your life, everybody listening, you're going to have your name. And your name is something you're going to be building up on little by little for your whole life. You're building a legacy there. Those other channels are projects. So in our example, I've got my Sean Cannel channels. But Benji Travis is the co-founder of Video Influencers. That's its own brand rather, and that we drive traffic to that. That is a project. It's called Video Influencers. Maybe it lasts and outlasts other things, and maybe we hand it off to somebody else someday, and it could last for hundreds of years, or maybe it won't. But Benji knows, and so do I, that our personal brands will actually probably live on far beyond that. Then what we do is we cross-promote. So the answer again is honestly both, and always go out. This is kind of just a practical tip for people, is you should always secure all the social media channels that you want, even if you're not going to be active on them for a while. So why not at least set it up, post a video there, whenever you maybe feel inspired, post something out there. You don't have to feel the pressure to be consistent if it's not your focus for this season, but you can. And then you also have the other channel. So I know that ultimately creates more work, but at the end of the day, who knows what will happen with different projects. But for sure, you're going to have your name and your personal brand for life.
Very true. Thank you for that. That for me, a lot of clarity right there. So that was worth it. If someone wanted to reach out to you, learn more about you, how could they go ahead and do that?
I'm very active on Twitter. And so at Sean Cannell, SeanCannell. No way anybody could have probably figured out how to spell that. So Sean Cannell on Twitter. I love to help people out, answer questions there. And then those two channels I mentioned are the best way to get a lot of great content. ThinkMedia to maybe figure out a few accessories, tools to level up your production value. And then Video Influencers for that strategy side, the tips, the nuances for what it takes, additional tips and strategies and interviews with people that are crushing with video. And that channel is there as well. So just type those into YouTube search, either ThinkMedia or Video Influencers, and we have all that content for you there.
Well, thank you for spending the time with me, Sean.
Eric, thanks so much.